If you're about to tattoo color realism and you feel like there's something off, it's most likely because you're lacking color temperature. Whether you're an artist trying to learn how to use color more confidently, or you just love seeing the process behind colored portrait tattoos, this video is going to help you give a lot of insight on how I think when I'm building a piece like this. Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing Art the Clown from Terrifier. I'm going to be doing a color portrait today, so I'm going to show you my process on how I do that. Today we're going to be doing the inside bicep. My client should be pulling up here soon, so hopefully I'm going to show her that and hopefully she's going to like it. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Okay, here is what I'm thinking.
Ugh, that is so cool.
Yeah, so kind of like how on the Sam that we
had
did.
like the little green edition.
Green, yes. So if you want to get in on that, kind of how we have the green, I wanted to bring in some of that red. So what do you think? Looks cool, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I figured that we wouldn't do so much of like the blood splatter kind of around his face because we did talk about last time doing more of the background stuff. And I just figured, you know, we can just kind of utilize that to tie that into the rest of your sleeve. So, but what do you think? I really like this idea. I really like how the red is over here and then the black background.
Yes, and I love how you did like the teeth and like just like the wrinkles in the face, because that's going to look like my kind of like the wrinkles in my my Michael Myers. Go ahead and
Hell yeah.
I'm super excited. I knew she was, and like the eyes are gonna go crazy. I'm super excited.
Oh yeah. All right, let's get started.
Hi guys, my name is Jadelyn. Today we are going to be doing Art the Clown from Terrifier. I'm super excited. My first tattoo was when I was 18. My dad told me I couldn't get a tattoo, so the day after I turned 18, I went and I got my whole side done. That was my first tattoo, and ever since then I was like, I want to be covered. Like, I love horror movies. I've gotten like a Michael Myers, I've gotten like a Sam, a Killer Clowns, and then like I have a ghost face up here, but we're doing like a whole like horror sleeve, and Art is gonna go up here today. So, and over here we're gonna do like a Universal Monsters next. If you haven't booked with Chris yet, book with her because she's awesome.
Today I'm going to be using the 10 color set by Empire Inks that just came out. I really like this set a lot because it resembles a lot of like oil painting. As you can see, the oil paintings that I've done, it's pretty much the same, has the same names as you would find on an oil painting. So that's why I really like it. So I'm going to be using majority of these today to be doing my portrait here. One of the biggest things I wanted to point out with portraits is that it is super important to have a clean photo of what you're doing. A lot of the time you're doing a portrait that we've seen before, like elsewhere. You want to go far and wide on the internet and search what you can to find the best portrait possible. Now, when you're tattooing a portrait of somebody's relative, obviously you want to make sure that they bring in a good clear photo of that relative to make sure that it is a legible photo, so you can make sure that you're doing the best quality work that you can. Also, something that I really wanted to point out is just because something is white to us doesn't necessarily mean that it is. When you go onto Procreate here, you can do the eyedrop tool and you can see where it falls on the color wheel. Make sure to always keep that in mind, is that light bounces and colors bounce. And sometimes when we see things as a certain color, it's because it's a reflection. It's just the way that it's bouncing off the light source, the way that it's going. So that's super important, especially down here. You can notice that this has more of like the reddish purples under here. We know that red is coming over here, but we know that there is another light source that's also coming from over here. So this is a light source of red. This is a light source over here. So we're seeing a couple different light sources with different colors bouncing from each places. So also to keep in mind that there is shadows, there is values coming from over here, shadows right there, shadows right here. There's a couple different shadows going on to kind of indicate, you know, there is some curvature going in his face. When I get to this section right here on the nose, you'll see I am going to be using a little bit of blues and some of the yellows to kind of mimic and get this green tone that you see. I don't know if that's showing up on the camera. Same with like over here, there's a couple other colors that we see here. Now, a lot of this is going to make up for the colors that we see on the rest of the portrait zooming out. It does all come together eventually. I'm going to approach this portrait as I would a oil painting. Like I said earlier, with the colors that I'm going to be using from Empire Inks, all of the colors that they use on that set is labeled after an oil paint set that you would typically use on canvas. So that's why I really like them, is Empire Inks I really like how Empire Inks made that color set just because doing oil painting has really kind of helped with transitioning from color onto skin. One thing that I like to do with color portraits, or just color, is I like to print out my reference photo. So that way I use my iPad, but I also have a printed out photo to use as well. The reason why I like to do that is so I don't focus too much on the details and stay in one spot. Sometimes less is more. So when I use the printed out photo, I'm able to just kind of look at it as one whole, whereas I'm looking at it on my iPad, I'm seeing where I have my layer on top for my stencil, kind of like how you see here, the green, you can see the stencil. So when I zoom in, the closest I zoom in, the more I'm focusing on those details, the more I'm going to lose and kind of get out of focus a little bit. So when I have, like I said, when I have my photo out in front of me, it's a little bit easier for me to just kind of see it as one collective picture and not focus too much on the details. Okay, so this is basically what I was saying about printing it out. So make sure you have a good printer that has color ink in it so you can print this out. I just keep it right next to my client, like as I'm tattooing her. Like I said, this is going to be good and useful for not really focusing too much on those details and just kind of focusing more on like the overall picture, getting my values in there, really understanding my picture collectively as a whole instead of having the comfortability of my iPad to zoom in and zoom out. This is just really what that's used for. So if you want to try that method, go for it. Let me know what you guys think. Plus, this is going to be like a really good spot for this. Like I always said, the inner bicep is also really good for portraits just because of how flat it is.
I'm like, just more canvas area.
I'm going to put it on and then I'm going to have you stand up just because I want to see how it sits naturally.
Okay.
But the reason why I do this is because when you have your arm laying out, yes, it does stretch, but it is really good to get a nice stencil on there. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you can have someone stand like this and just put it there. No matter what, it's got to stretch. But this is just my method. Take it or leave it. Do what you will with that information. Oh yeah, that was a perfect fit. All right, slowly, without moving or bending your arm, stand up for me so I can see how this looks. Yeah, no, that's good. Because then what we can do is the back of your arm, we can, like the tricep area, the back of your arm, the tricep area, we can kind of connect. We still have like the background. We still got to work in here, but let me have you take a step back really quick. Cool. Yeah. Because then we can kind of use this space right here to kind of connect the two. We were talking about doing the phone wires, right? And then what else? He has an axe, right?
He has an axe. He has like a wooden stick with nails and he has like a little cereal bowl, like Art Krispies. He has a bunch of stuff.
We can do all kinds of things, you know? So what do you think? Cool? Hell yeah. All right, so now I'm going to pour my inks here. Like I said, I'm going to be using this Empire set. It's a 10 color set. It's honestly one of my favorites, colored inks sets that I've used so far. I just really like the consistency. I swear by Empire inks. I also use their gray wash, white wash. Empire inks, really, really good stuff. So if you are a painter, if you like oil painting, this is probably for you. Another thing when pouring your color ink set, no matter which way you do it is fine, as long as it makes sense to you. Some people like to do their cool tones together, and then all the way up to their warm tones together. It's really your own personal preference with what you like. Obviously, there is rules at the end of the day, but again, if it works for you, it works for you. How I do it is I line up 5 colors in the front, 5 colors in the back. Usually I put more of my lighter values in the front and then my darker values in the back. That's just how I do it. That's just how I've always done it, especially with painting. But if there's another way to do it, I'm always open to your guys' suggestions. So let me know what you guys do with colors. Bada bing, bada boom, the yellows and the reds. Gotta make some oranges over here.
This is my job.
Give me a fan. Get you a Nicole, somebody that will shake your ink for you. Thanks, Nicole. Even when you don't think that you're going to be using blue in a predominantly all red type of portrait, you'd be surprised you'd be surprised. You would still be using some blue. So I'm also going to be using my Allegory Ultra Black, as always. This black is super dark. I really like the saturation that shows up on skin when you pack it correctly. So I'm going to be using this mainly for all my dark black values today. I'm going to be using my dynamic white today just to kind of help with the values of my colors that I'm using. I'm going to be pouring 2 caps of this white. I'm going to be using WJX needles today. I have my 15 curve mag, my 9 curve mag, my 7 curve mag, a 9 round liner, and a 5 round liner. The liners that I'm using, I like to use for a stipple technique. So a stipple shading technique is what I'll be using, kind of get the base of my portrait in with all the colors, and then I'll be going over with my mags to kind of smooth out the shading, kind of like how I did for the rest of the tattoos that I did on her arm. Now, breaking down this horror color realism tattoo, I'm going to talk about how I approached the color palette, how I used color theory to make the red and gray tones stand out against the skin, and most importantly, how to tattoo lighter colors so they actually heal clean and still hold contrast. I'm going to talk about value control and why it's so important. When you're working with lighter colors, especially white, pale pinks, and grays, the biggest thing to remember is contrast through visibility. Lighter colors on skin will always lose contrast once healed. So to help keep this tattoo feel alive, I surround the highlight with deeper values. Not always using black in this case, I'm using midtones that help those lighter values stand out very strong. For example, notice how the eyes, the nose, and the teeth have the subtle light values, and that they're framed around the deep shadows and darker values. That was an intentional contrast and value control, and it's important when doing portraits or any other realism pieces. When it comes to my color palette, when I plan for tattoos like this, I'm not just picking colors that match a reference photo. It's very important that I'm thinking about my canvas, this being the skin tone, specifically how my colors will translate and read on skin. The red tones that I'm using work as a complementary tone to the skin. Warmer colors naturally pop on lighter skin tones, especially when surrounded by desaturated or cool neutrals like gray tones. I like the red in this not just for the realism, but as a temperature anchor for the entire piece. It gives warmth and aggression to balance the cool tones in this portrait. Overall, color temperature is what keeps this realism from feeling flat. Throughout this portrait, you'll see the subtle purples and warm undertones under the grays to mimic skin under the face paint. Those tiny shifts between cool and warm tones make the face feel alive, even when it's a clown from hell. Making this piece work isn't just a technical side, it's the emotional contrast with it. We've got an intense, aggressive expression, and that's mirrored in how the colors clash and support each other. If you can take anything from this video, think about the colors as emotion, not just realism. Every tone that you use tells more about the story.
Ugh, he's so cool. Like, look at that. It looks like a freaking sticker. Like, that's literally what it looks like.
Oh, from this angle, it's kind of cool.
Are you guys seeing this? It does. Look at the, like, stitching on the top. Like, that looks like his freaking thing.
It looks like the photo. Hell yeah. What do you think?
We love it.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. My arm's swollen, so.
Let me have you just hold out your arm like that. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, no, it fits perfectly there. Yeah. I know you said you're swollen, but I mean, you really don't look too swollen, so that's good.
Love it. Love it. I'm super happy with it. And can't wait to finish the rest and just have like one cohesive arm.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be sick. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about my process. If it helps, if it doesn't help, I want some pointers, some feedbacks. So let me know in the comments below. If you want more of these videos, subscribe below. Let me know what you guys think.